Style of your flavor make the city rock. They must say the season come out with a bang. Coach Minzy, best round here. Remember that.
Viewers and subscribers, welcome again to the Coach's Desk with your host, Coach Minzy. And we have in studio Kristal McGreggor. She's formerly of the St. Andrew High School for Girls, and she is a National Junior College Associate Division III MVP. Welcome to the Coach's Desk, Kristal.
Thank you. It's my pleasure to be here.
Definitely, it's a privilege for us to have you here on the Coach's Desk. So let's jump right into it, Kristal.
Yeah.
Talk to us about your years at St. Andrew High School for Girls.
Wow. My years at St. Andrew High School for Girls was absolutely amazing. If I'm being honest, though, while at St. Andrew High, I wasn't the best student there. You know, I wasn't the best. I gave a lot of trouble. Believe it or not, I did. I did. I got into so much. Listen, I got into so much trouble, detention, demerits, almost. I think I got one suspension. I think it was like in-school suspension. But there was a point where I realized I had to turn my life around, right? And that happened, I want to say, when I got to the 9th grade. And that's when I saw Mr. Bolt one day, and he was like, girl, you need to come out for the track team. And I decided to join the track team. And that's where I learned how to discipline. I learned how to become disciplined. And then I also learned that, you know, in order for me, if I wanted to compete in track and field, then I had to do well in class, right? So then there came that balance where if I wanted to continue throwing, if I wanted to do all that good stuff, I had to do my part in the class. And Mr. Bull, he will always like tell us like, hey, if you don't do what you're supposed to do, if you get in trouble, if you mess up in class, and I was in one of Mr. Bull's math class. And so if I wasn't on my best behavior, that track meet that was coming up, I would miss that track meet. And so it was then I realized that, listen, if I wanted to do this, I would have to turn my whole life around. And that's when I started, you know, giving less trouble and taking track and field a little bit serious.
So definitely getting involved in track and field or sports definitely gave you a balance, taught you discipline and so forth. So all the viewers and subscribers out there, this is a teachable moment from Kristal, because sports is an important aspect of life. Now, talk to us, Kristal, about the track and field aspect of your days at St. Andrew and your performances at Champs and so forth.
So I started, so the first year I competed at the Boys and Girls Championship. Man, this has been so long. I competed at, I think the first champs I competed at was when it was held at GC Foster, when no fans was allowed to come in, right? I think that was the first year I started doing track and field. And that year I finished second in the discus. I think it was class 3. I finished second. It was my last year in class 3, and I finished second in the girls discus. My teammate, Rosalie Dunbar, she had won that event. And then the following year, when I got to class 2, I ended up finishing around, I made it to the finals. I can't remember what I finished, but I know my teammate, again, she won that event as well. And so shot put, I did it, but I didn't really like it. I didn't take it seriously, to be honest with you. Discus was what I focused on. Okay. I never won a championship at the Boys and Girls, event or anything of that sense, but I always made it to the finals.
Right.
And if I'm being honest, like I said, track and field or sports at that time, I was using that as a way to ensure that I was becoming a better person, right? So even if I didn't get a medal, even if I didn't get on a podium, I felt good within myself to know that I gave it everything that I had. And, the results, whatever the outcome is, I would be pleased with it because I know I gave it my best, right? And so, yeah, and then I think around 1 year I tried out, I think it was the CSC trials, and I think I won the discus and placed like 4th in the shot put. I really did not like the shot put.
Okay. All right. But since that you went to the St. Andrew High School for Girls, you know, it's one of the traditional high schools in Jamaica, one of the top traditional high schools. Um, why not the science club? Why not the school challenge quiz team? Why track and field?
I wasn't interested in all that stuff, right? Like when I was in high school, I went into high school just like, you know what, I'm gonna just have a good time, right? I'm gonna learn. I'm at one of the best high schools in Jamaica, and I'm gonna be there, and I'm gonna do something. And I think it was because of the influence or the people that I had around me. One of my very good friends, Dakota Wall, at the time, we both went to Shortwood, practicing in junior high. And so we went to that, we went through that school together, and then she came to St. Andrew High and she was on the track team. And she would always tell me, Kristal, you should join the track team, you should join the track team. But I was like, no, I can't run. You know, I was a little bit bigger, a little bit thicker, so I couldn't run. So I was like, I'm not doing no track and field. And she's like, girl, you could throw. And I'm like, throw, like, what's that, right? And she's like, no, you should try it out. And then she was the one who introduced me to Mr. Bolt. So I think after, you know, several conversations with Mr. Bolt, with Dakota influencing me, Mr. Bolt, every time he saw me, he was like, big girl, you're not coming out? And I'm like, oh my God, let me leave this, let this man leave me alone. Let me just try it out. I did, loved it. And then also, I also played basketball, right? I played basketball. I was a member of the first basketball team at St. Andrew High School. Cool. So I just loved sports. So I think that was the reason why I did that, rather than like trying to be on like the school challenge quiz or team or the science club or anything of that sense.
Oh, so was your family background one of persons being involved in sports?
No, absolutely
The affinity
not.
was just there for sports.
Huh?
The affinity was just there for sports.
Right. Yeah. I think my family and I, we watched, so we watched a lot of basketball and stuff like that. So I had a love for sports, right? As a consumer, as just watching it, but not participating. But once I got to St. Andrew High, my friend kept influencing me. Mr. Bolt encouraged me. And I think that's when I was like, hey, let me take a chance. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Okay, cool. You made mention of winning the J3, one of the junior trials there in the discus. Do you have any recollection of that event? How you probably beat the favorites and so forth?
I'm not, I can't, like I said, it was long ago. I want to say in that time, Kenisha Thrusing at the time, I believe she was at Virtinico. And it was a tough competition. And I think, that day we all went out there and we gave it our best, but I think I found the strength to get one of those good throws out.
Okay, good job there on that win. Now, many probably don't know, but you migrated to the United States of America and you made mention of your love for basketball. You started to play basketball there, but somehow you were reintroduced to track and field. Do you want to elaborate?
Absolutely. So when I left high school, I actually went to Excelsior Community College, right? A lot of people don't know that either. But I actually went to Excelsior Community College where I played basketball for a season before I migrated to the States. And once I came to the States, I really wanted to play basketball. So once I enrolled at Bronx Community College, the first place I went to was the gym to find the AD and to see, hey, do you have a basketball team? But they didn't. They didn't have a basketball team. And I had realized that I had missed competing in sports. And so what happened was the volleyball coach at the time, he said to me, well, we have a track team and they're looking for more girls. And I was like, oh yeah, I did track before. And he's like, you should try it out. And I was like, I'll do it. Like, I'm good. I'm not going to try it, but I'll sign up for it. And I did. I met with the head coach, and then she introduced me to the throws coach, Coach Howard. And that's where my life literally turned around.
Awesome. And I just want to let persons know, the viewers and subscribers out there, that you are a PhD student. You have completed your studies and you are now Dr. Kristal McGreggor. So persons out there, you can address her as Dr. McGreggor. All right. Now, I want you to tell the viewers also, Kristal, that the importance of getting involved in sports, because through sports, you got a free education all the way up to your PhD level. I want you to elaborate on that so that persons out there who believe that track and field or any sporting discipline is just running up and down and these folks as they have no brain. I want you to tell us, how did that come about for you and what was it like?
Yeah, so when I was in Jamaica, I didn't really understand the pieces of how track and field could provide you with a scholarship opportunity. I didn't. Throwers on the team. I was one of the top athletes on the team. And so, if I'm being honest, like a lot of coaches weren't really interested in me, right? But once I came to the US and I met Coach Howard, and he really sat me down and he taught me about the different division colleges. He taught me about what a scholarship was and how I could work towards getting a scholarship, right? He told me about the NCAA and the NIAA and all these different conferences and institutions and how I would be able to get a scholarship.
Which
and he
you
said
had
to
no
me,
clue
like,
about.
say
You
that
had
again?
no clue about.
No, had no idea. When he told me, he was like, yeah, you have Division 1, 2, and 3. I was like, what is that? Like, I have no idea what that is, right? I was clueless, but I trusted him, right? And because I trusted him, and he said to me, all you have to do is get a good grade, right? He said, make sure you have a GPA of 3.0 or higher, and you perform, right? We're going to perform well, and you're going to get a scholarship. And I said, all right, say no more. And so day in and day out, I applied myself, right? I went to school from 8 a.m. to around 3, 4 p.m. And then I went to training, right? You had nights I didn't get home until 10 p.m. But I knew I had to put this work in because there was a scholarship somewhere waiting for me, right? And so, but it wasn't until somebody told me about that opportunity, right? I think oftentimes back home, many students just don't know what's out there, right? Some students, like I said, not everybody is gonna be the top athlete, but there's somebody on the team with a time that some institution here in the US will be willing to accept, right? But they just don't know about that enough information. When there's a lack of knowledge, then one is not able to take advantage of that situation. But there are many opportunities within track and field, but I think there has to be a better way to help the younger generation with understanding and seeing how they can take advantage of the opportunities.
Awesome. And for the records, she's an Hampton University alumni. Yeah, that's over there in Virginia. So that's where Dr. McGreggor went and completed her studies. So it's telling me again how important sport is, how impacting sports can be in an individual's life, as long as they get the right channel, the right persons, the connections are right, and so forth. Then the world is out there for them to take on. Wonderful story there. Fast forward to a few years after, you dabbled a bit into coaching. I want you to know, tell the viewers and subscribers, how did you get involved in coaching?
So I graduated from Hampton University, and I suffered. I had different injuries while I was competing. I had like my knee, I had tore my meniscus, had to do surgery, had back injuries, and so my desire, my goal to like becoming working towards trying out for the Olympic team or whatever it looked like, it died, right? And so I had to find something else. And so I remember I was doing some volunteer work with Track Alerts at the Adidas Grand Prix. And I saw my former college coach, Maurice Pierce, and he said to me, he's like, Kristal, I have an opportunity for you to come back to Hampton. Would you be interested? And I'm like, absolutely. And he's like, I'm going to call you in a few days. And then he called as the director of operations and the assistant track and field coach for the throwers, right? And I jumped on it, right? Hampton got my heart. And so I jumped on it. I went back to Hampton, and I handled the day-to-day operations of the program for both programs. And then I also coached the male and female throwers. And then I also was the point of contact for recruiting international student athletes, especially from Jamaica, to Hampton University.
Okay, and the follow-up question to that, what's the sort of respect that you got as a female coach in a male-dominated business?
Yeah, it was challenging, if I'm being honest with you. Not only was I a female, but I was young, right? So I remember when I first started coaching, it was hard, right? Some of the guys on the team with them the year before, right? So now you're coming back, and now you're like, older than me. Is this right? So it was a process. It was a process. When I think about like going to different conference meets and stuff like that, some coaches, they looked at me a little bit off, like, let's see. But once my athletes started performing, then I earned the respect. So it's almost like my athletes had to perform before they could respect the knowledge and who I am and coming in. But definitely it's something that, the gender piece and the age piece, it definitely impacts the way most people see you in the sports.
Okay, that's true. Kristal, are you still involved in coaching presently?
Yes. So I volunteer right now. I assist at the Lincoln High School here in Michigan. I assist the track and field program, but also I more so, in addition to coaching, I also work more now with mentoring student athletes. So that's kind of what my focus is on right now.
Okay, cool. So that will be your passion, seeing how your story was.
Yes.
It'd be a good story to use to impact those students when you're mentoring them. Kristal, it was a pleasure having you here on the program. It's a short program today, but indeed you gave us some bit of information that we weren't aware of. Now, any final thoughts that you want to share with us, students out there, other coaches, just to share your final thoughts before we close off today's program?
Yes, absolutely. To student athletes right now, take this season as a moment to really, focus on your academics and do what you're supposed to do in class. Coaches, be kind, be patient. We're in a pandemic, but also try to push them so they could get out of their comfort zone. And then lastly, currently I have a business called the Holistic Development Consulting and Mentoring. And pretty much right now I'm offering mentorships to student athletes. So if anybody's interested, they could reach out to me and I could send them the information and we could talk. It's all virtual. So no matter where you are, we could get this mentoring done.
Any Facebook or social media pages that they could reach you on?
Yes. So you could, on Facebook, it's just Kristal McGreggor. So that's KRISTAL McGreggor. On Instagram is DR_Kristal, so KRISTALMC.
All right, and I'm sure these persons will get on right away just to get some information from you. Thanks again.
Absolutely.
Definitely we enjoy our time here with you on the coach's desk. It was a pleasure having you. Enjoy the rest of your day, Kristal.
Thank you, and you too.
Thank you.